Hey everyone, welcome to this YouTube channel. And the topic we are considering this time around is differentiation. Differentiation. This episode will focus on introduction to differentiation, and this will be very helpful to somebody who doesn't have any knowledge of differentiation, or you want to really understand about differentiation. I want you to relax as we proceed. Now, there are different ways by which you can identify differentiation question. One of the ways is when you see a question saying differentiate with respect to, that WRT means with respect to. So when you differentiate with respect to, you can have differentiation of y with respect to x. That when we have the y dx. You can have differentiation of v in respect to t. That's why we have the v dt. You can have differentiation of s in respect to t. That is when we have the s dt. We can have differentiation of v with respect to w. That's when we have the v, the w, and so on and so forth. Another way you can know to identify differentiation question is when you see find the derivative. Find the derivative. Another way is to find the gradient or slope. Find the gradient or slope. Then another one is when the examiner is asking you to find the f prime. In this situation, they will give you f of x. So when you are given f of x, to find f prime of x, it means differentiation. These are the ways by which differentiation question can be asked. If you look at this format, this one is y in respect to x. A stands for coefficient of x, while n is the power of x. So to find the y dx, you will multiply the coefficient and the power, then subtract 1 from the power. It will look like this. The y dx equal to an x n raised to power n minus 1. Let me say for another way, k is equal to am raised to power n. Where this one is k with respect to m. So in this place, you are going to have the k dm. So the k dm will be an m raised to power n minus 1. Now I want to do examples. And I want to pay rapt attention to this example. And having studied these examples, you can lay your hand on as many questions as possible. Y is equal to 2x raised to power 5. If you look at this question, the coefficient of x is 2, the power of x is 5. So the y dx will be 2 multiplied by 5, x raised to power of 5 minus 1, which is equal to 4. So it will be like this. This is the y dx. Then having multiplied 2 and 5, then 5 minus 1, we have 10x raised to power 4. This is the y dx of the function. Example 2. Y is equal to 1 raised to 1 over x raised to power 3. Now, it's better to represent this type of equation in such a way that you have coefficient and power. So this one, we can write it like this, x raised to power minus 3. You know, anytime you have coefficient of 1 in math, you don't write coefficient of 1. You don't write 1x raised to power minus 3. No. Anytime you see a question and then the coefficient is 1 and the power is minus 3. So the y dx will be multiply 1 and minus 3, then minus 3 minus 1. So that will give us minus 3x raised to power minus 4. You can leave your answer like this or write it as minus 3 over x raised to power 4. Another one. Y is equal to 5 all over 2x raised to power 4. This one also you can write the question. So this one can write it 5 over 2 x raised to power minus 4. You know, in indices, when you have a denominator with a power and you want to write it as a whole number, then you know that power become a negative. So this one 5 over 2x raised to power minus 4. So multiply the coefficient and the power, subtract 1 from the power, then you have your dy dx. So divide 5 over 2 multiplied by minus 4, x raised to power minus 4 minus. So this one will eventually give us minus 10x raised to power minus 5. So this answer we can equally write it as minus 10 over x raised to power 5. Mind you, if you write your final answer like this, it's okay. But if you want to write it further, this is equal to minus 10 all over x raised to power. But note, if you write minus 10 all over x raised to power minus 5, is wrong. I want you to note that. So another example, y is equal to root 9x. If you look at this question, that root is for both 9 and x. So to simplify this, you can just find what is the root of 9. Root of 9 is 3. So you can write it like this, 3 root x. To have it in coefficient and power, you can write 3x raised to power half, because root x means x raised to power half. Then we can find the y dx. So having multiplied it with 3 over 2 x raised to power minus half. So we can rewrite it like 3 all over 2 x raised to power half, or 3 over 2 root x. So whether you have your answer like this, final answer like this, is okay. If you proceed to this one, fine. And if you can get it to this level, is equally okay. Another example. This one is 2 all over cube root of x. We can rewrite this one as well to 2 all over x raised to 1 over 3. Further, we can still rewrite it as 2x raised to minus 1 over 3. So to find the y dx now, we can multiply the power and the coefficient, then subtract 1 from the power, which is minus 1 over 3 multiplied by 2, x raised to minus 1 over 3 minus 1. And to give us this as answer. We can equally rewrite this answer thus: minus 2 all over 3x raised to 4 over 3. This one can also be rewritten thus: minus 2 all over 3 cube root of x4. I want you to pay rapt attention to this place. If you write it like this or like this, you are equally okay. But you know that when you have x raised to power 3 over 4, you know, it's like you have 3x, that power is 1 over 3 multiplied by 4. So 1 over 3 means cube root. And y that 4 is raised to power of 4. So if you write it like this, you are equally okay. Or like this, all of them, they mean the same thing. Another example. In this example, they give us f of x is equal to 5x raised to power 3 plus 3x squared minus 2x plus 50. So we want to find f prime of x. F prime of x is to differentiate the function, which is 15x squared plus 6x minus 2. Note, when you are differentiating a constant, is equal to 0. You can write 50x raised to power 0. So when you differentiate that one, you get 0. Example 7. S is equal to t raised to power 3 plus t raised to power 2 minus 5th root of t. So we can rewrite this question as say that t raised to power 3 plus t squared minus t raised to power 1 over 5. If you look at this question, to differentiate this one, what we have here is the s dt. The s dt. So the s dt will give us 3t squared plus 2t minus 1 over 5t minus 1 over 5 minus 1, which will eventually give us 3t squared plus 2t minus 1 over 5t minus 4 over 5. Now, second derivative. When you see a question, they ask you to find second derivative. Second derivative is like you find the y dx. If it's y in respect to x, then you find the y dx of the y dx. If it is the v dt, you find the v dt of the v dt. That is what we call second derivative. So another way of representing what I said is y in respect to x, the y dx of the y dx is the square y all over the x square. That's how to write it. Then another way, when you have f prime, that one is first derivative. When you have f prime prime, that's second derivative. If you have f prime prime prime, that's third derivative. You need to note that this prime, they are two. When they are two, it means second derivative. When they are three, it means third derivative. If it is only one, it means first derivative. Example on that. So f of x is equal to 2x raised to power 3 minus x squared plus 6x. We want to find the second derivative of x. So the first derivative is the first one we find, which is equal to 6x squared minus 2x plus 6. And the second derivative, we differentiate that thing again, which is equal to 12x minus 2. Note, I said when you want to differentiate constant is 0. That is why that 6 is no more there. Second example, if y is equal to 3x cubed minus 2 over x squared plus 50, we want to find the second, find the square y dx squared. So let us rewrite the question first. Y is equal to 3x raised to the power 3 minus 2x raised to the power minus 2 plus 15. So let us find the first derivative, which is the y dx. So divide this 9x squared minus 4x raised to the power minus 3 plus 0 anyway. Then the second derivative will be 18x minus 12x raised to the power minus 4. Or you can write the final answer like 18x minus 12 over x raised to the power 4. For this introduction, this how far we go, we continue in the next episode. I want you to be expectant. And you can try to subscribe. By the time you subscribe, automatically you get notification about it. You can share it to as many of your friends so that they can learn as well. Thank you and stay safe.